Hi, this is Kathy. I had some technical difficulties, so this is the second part of my Task 1 first video. I opened a couple of the windows that I had open the last time so that I could continue on with the conversation that I was having. So this is from Mind Maps from the Pepperdine University. Teachers don't use technology because classroom technology is just too old. So it says each time in a meeting, the same defense is claimed. Our computers are just too old. There's not enough computer technology at our school. There's no way that I can afford to take time out to learn all this new stuff that probably doesn't work anyway. These are some of the things that I hear from the teachers that are in my school. They complain that there just isn't enough information. They feel that all the equipment is just too old to use, although some of the computer equipment we've got is only a year or two old, but I still hear that sometimes when we have meetings about technology. So this has some myths. Let's see what they say. Myth 1, schools don't spend enough on technology, so how can you expect teachers to incorporate technology into their lesson plans? And probably in some cases that is true. They don't spend enough money. Maybe it's not that they don't spend enough money. Maybe it's just that they're not getting the things that the teacher feels is the important things. It says in general classrooms, from the survey that they did, they said that they had overhead projectors and VCRs. It may seem at first to be a failing of the teachers, but closer inspection of data shows that many teachers believe that an ideal smart classroom should have podiums with overhead projectors built in, as opposed to the LCD projector, or desks with a computer built into each one. Wouldn't that be great to have a computer right in every desk? The problem with the former is obvious. The problem with the latter is such a classroom would almost immediately become obsolete, as well as take away from valuable space from students, such as space where they might bring their laptops. Clearly more needs to be spent on modeling what efficient usage of technology might be in a classroom, as well as classroom design. Okay, myth number 2, schools can't afford to spend any money on technology, so teachers can't do ICT PBL. Not quite sure what that means. Maybe it'll tell me. They're saying this is false. There's a myriad of low-cost technology components that can be used very effectively, and there are a host of options for teachers. And we've learned in our master's program that there are a lot of free tools that you can get. Maybe the free tools don't have all of the bells and whistles that the ones that you have to pay for do, but I have found that some of the tools are really kind of cool, and you can really do a lot of neat things with it if you give it a chance or spend the time getting to know it. I think maybe sometimes that's one of the issues that goes on, that teachers feel that someone just should show them, and without them doing any of the work themselves. So I think that could be one of the problems. It goes on to say in HP target low-cost classroom technology, relatively low-cost technologies like HP multi-seat allow up to 10 students to share access to a single host computer. Aside from cost benefits, so this is system things, often too the difference between effective implementation of whatever this is and disuse is simply the encouragement of a different mindset. I think that's part of what it is a change of mindset. I think that we have a lot of naysayers out there that feel that what they're doing is fine, but we need to get with the program, and this is what our students' world is going to be like, so we need to teach them the way that they're going to have to live. Hemmings actively advocated as well as advertised the virtues of We Geekin at Hughes High School in Cincinnati, a predominantly black and poverty-level school. By making geekin a positive, admirable verb, students and teachers came to see ICBL as something neat to do, consequently, use of the technology in teaching as well as the student engagement rate was substantially increased. Finally, much of the technology already present and underutilized found that within even innovative technology-rich school settings supported student project collaboration only 17% of the time. So even schools that have the technology aren't using it as much as they probably should be. So down here we have some information. I think I will go and, whoops, look at these pages, open in a new tab, open a new tab, open a new tab, and see what these have to say. Oh, I need access to get in there, so I guess I'm not going to be able to see what they have to say. But I will bookmark this page so that I can go back to it because it does have some information that I like. I gotta go down and find my bookmark now. Okay. Then this was an Education World article that I had opened the last time about motivating teachers to use technology. I like going to Education World. Sometimes it has some neat ideas. This says Dr. Walter Tobin, Interim Superintendent, Calhoun County, South Carolina Public Schools, recently participated in a teleconference called Enhancing Education Through Technology, one of a series of teleconferences on the No Child Left Behind Act, sponsored by Plato Learning. Included strategies for improving teachers' technology literacy. And I think that that's like one of the big problems. Teachers don't feel confident and comfortable using the technology, so they may shy away from it. Many educators may not realize that enhancing education through technology, part of the No Child Left Behind Act, provides assistance in the form of funds and guidance for improving technology proficiency among educators and increasing technology use in classrooms. That assistance is available at a time when, according to information from Plato Learning, only 1/3 of teachers report that they feel prepared to use computers for classroom instruction, and 77% report spending 32 or fewer hours on technology-related PD activities. I received my undergraduate in 2007, and the only reason that I really had much technology in my undergraduate program was because I took electives where I learned about technology. It's something that I've always been interested in, and my husband's kind of a geek, and so he encourages me that way. But in my core classes that I had to take, I think there was only one class that we had to take in regards to technology, and it wasn't so much about how to integrate it into your lesson plans. And I think that that's what a lot of or some teachers' frustration is that they don't know how to integrate it in, and they haven't been taught how to integrate it. And so I have something that I don't really know how to use, and I have to figure out how I'm supposed to use it to inspire and educate the students that I'm entrusted with. So many the funds. Okay, Plato is holding a series of teleconferences on the Act, among them on enhancing education through technology. The conference included Dr. Tobin, who discussed the professional development opportunities in technology. Tobin was joined in the teleconference by Director of Education Technology for the U.S. Department of Education and the Chief Executive Officer of the International Society for Technology and Education. So that sounds kind of cool. Click here to read an e-interview with Bailey. Click here. So I'm going to click on these. Might be interesting to look to see what their comments were. Education World recently participated in a teleconference. During the interview, he shares his thoughts about providing more and better professional development for educators in the area of technology. Dr. Walter Tobin, professional development is the key to making the kinds of improvements in student achievement we want. We have built what we do around professional development, and professional development includes raising the technical skills of our teachers and exposing them to the kind of management system and instructional management system that a system such as Plato-Orion provides. We've got several challenges to overcome in regards to staff technology training. First of all, we have a small technical staff. Often when we get people trained, people steal them away. We also have a small instructional staff and limited resources. So we have been part of a project with a local university in Plato-Orion in which we focus on a couple of things, notably professional development and anywhere, anytime learning for students, which is about having the instructional and curriculum resources we need for students and being able to access the information our teachers need. The managed internet. I like that term, the managed internet. During the past year, we've been able to expose teachers to information that is available. They are now using that information on a daily basis. Harry Wong, I like Harry Wong, First Days of School. Actually, we're reading that book at school right now as a part of our professional development with our PLC. Harry Wong talks about teachers being critical to the reform effort. At the beginning of the year, we asked our board if we could buy a laptop for each of our teachers. We had begun planning over the summer, and we knew that the skill level among our teachers varied. We knew that some were very capable of using the technology and going on with it. We knew if we put the technology in those teachers' hands, they would use it. Some teachers came back to school in the fall with several months of lesson plans done already. Cool. We also upgraded our teachers' skills by providing them with professional development. Several classes are being offered right now, and some were offered in the fall, and some will be offered in the spring. We also dismiss school on some days about 45 minutes early. That's kind of a cool idea. What we find is that on those days, teachers stay much later than they ordinarily would because they are working on things together and planning on a grade and subject level basis. In just that short 45-minute period, we find that teachers take more of an interest in working together and planning. I guess sometimes if you have something that's worthwhile for a teacher, they're going to put some time and effort into it. At least that's from my experience. What's exciting for me as I go into schools when teachers are having their unencumbered time is finding that they are accessing the web, which is available to them for curriculum content, lesson plans, and that kind of thing. Question: how difficult was it to get that early release? Tobin: I asked our board if we could pursue it. The board approved it, and we did a survey of our parents and PTA and asked if they would agree to it. Then we asked our teachers if they'd be willing to use the time to make a difference for their students. Getting away from hobby teaching. Question: we have teachers' technology standards but no incentives for teachers to achieve them. What ideas do you have? What we're doing is upgrading what our teachers are doing to integrate technology into their curriculum and teaching. That's been a hard sell sometimes, but we think we're making progress. I sometimes call what some teachers are doing hobby teaching. That means that they have been teaching something for a very long time, they enjoy teaching it, and they are going to keep teaching it no matter what. Oh, I like that. I think I'm going to copy that. Back to no matter what. Getting away from hobby teaching means doing standards-based teaching. So I'm going to copy that. I have a document I want to put it in. Whoops. I want to put the web address so I remember where it was that I got this from my education world. So I like that. So I'm going to keep that. What we're trying to get teachers to do is take those things that they have been teaching and go back to the standards. We provided that for our teachers by making that active web available to them. They have the information, the curriculum content, and the strategies they need to provide for their students. They can meet the individual needs of students in their classrooms. How do you move your teachers away from hobby teaching? What are the incentives? First of all, we try to convince folks that it's the right thing to do. And a lot of times I personally think that teachers, a lot of times I think that that's all that they need is to know that that's what's best for the students. And I think a teacher that's, a good teacher, that that would be a good enough incentive, or at least an incentive to make an attempt. They ought to be doing what's good for the children, which is raising their skill levels. One incentive is to give them the means and the access to do that, the laptop computers and the managed curriculum. We're finding that people are at varying levels of technical ability, so we have created a loose kind of community of leaders, teachers who have the skills to help other folks. We have report cards in South Carolina, as a lot of states do, so we encourage people by saying we don't want to get bad scores on our report cards, and certainly not on the report of our annual progress, which is very true because that affects everybody. Giving people time to plan is very important because often teachers are rushed and don't have common planning time. Now that our teachers have common planning time, they are sharing ideas with one another. By giving them the resources, giving them the technology, and giving them the time, and encouraging them to do as much as they can for their children, we're finding that people respond. That's one of the difficulties that we're having in my school. They've given us some time, but no one's sat down and given us any resources, no one's given us any pep talk, no one's giving us any suggestions. It's pretty much said, here's some time, just go and do it. And it's frustrating because half of our staff, we're all new teachers, especially me. I'm new in second grade this year. I taught fourth grade the last 2.5 years, so just telling me to go and do it is kind of difficult when I don't have any experience. And the teacher that I am, the other second grade teacher, she's been teaching a long time, but for some reason she doesn't seem to have any ideas. I don't know why that is, but she doesn't seem to have a lot of ideas, so it makes it kind of difficult because we have two people that don't really know what they're doing being told to work together and figure things out. So we've had some frustration with that. Being able to align what we're teaching to state standards is an important part of our efforts. We'd go into classrooms and sometimes teachers didn't know what the standards were. Now they know what the standards are and they can access those standards through Orion. There is accountability for teachers. We don't have that issue because we have a software that we use, Curriculum Crafter, where everything is put in there. Someone else went in and put in all of the Common Core standards for our math and our reading and writing, and then we have the GLICs in there for the science and social studies, and we have to make lesson plans each week that list what standards we're teaching, and so we're already held accountable for that. So I don't think that you would really kind of find that in our school, or if you did, I'd be really kind of surprised. It says there's an assessment piece teachers can use to find out where their students are. They can plan lessons around their results and then go to the web and create those lessons or find prototype lesson plans. Some of the lessons our teachers create are good enough to be put on the web, so they're available for other teachers as well. The other important piece is that we found that textbooks provide only a small portion of the information that meets the standards, and we have that problem. Our textbooks are so old that we don't have science or social studies that really help us a lot. You can pull a few lessons out of there, but mostly we have to go out on the web and find our lessons. But we got a new math program this year and a new writing program that are Common Core based, and so that's kind of cool, so we don't have to find the lessons for those. We've been very pleased with the correlation with the information that's provided for our teachers and with their ability to access information wherever they are. We have upgraded the technology in our schools. We have a network in all of our schools right now, and we have upgraded the computers in our labs and in some classrooms. We've been able to create accountability, align content to standards, correlate our textbooks to standards, and utilize assessment tools to increase student achievement. It's very exciting to go into classrooms, especially on the days we dismiss early, and see the 3rd and 4th grade teachers working together, accessing the web with their laptops and working on behalf of their students. We have not yet been able to determine exactly how much difference all this is making, but we think there is a real possibility for improvement for our students, primarily because instruction is now standard driven and based on the standards of South Carolina. Pretty cool. Okay, then this was another article that I had pulled up the last time, and it's from eLearn magazine, and it's called How to Help Teachers Use Technology in the Classroom. Oh, I want to go to these Education World. Oh, okay, I'll go back to those later. And it's the 5J approach, and so that sounded interesting. I didn't know what the 5J approach was. So it says, recent reports from the Chronicle of Higher Education and Walden University point to teachers' continuing difficulties integrating technology into classroom learning, despite access to technology and despite the fact that novice teachers are entering the classroom with far more advanced technology skills than their counterparts of earlier age. Only 39% of teachers report moderate or frequent use of technology. I'm one of those people that are newer in the workforce, and I think that if I wasn't as technologically savvy as I am, and if I didn't have my husband who helps me a great deal, that I would probably fall within that 39% because I don't feel that the undergraduate training program, teacher training program that I went through necessarily gave us the tools that we would need in order to go into a classroom and integrate technology. It wasn't important to have classes or instruction or for us to even plan that. I never had to write a lesson plan that talked about technology at all. I had to use manipulatives. I had to show different types of assessments, formative and summative, but I was never asked to write any kind of lesson plan that integrated technology at all into the plan. And so I think that that's probably what one of the problems is that the teacher programs need to be changed or something added to them that requires more technology usage and training and teaching, and then showing teachers how to integrate the technology. I think until that's done, the problem is that teachers are going to come out into the workforce and they're not going to be prepared, and it's going to be up to the school districts then to continually have PD to teach these new teachers how to integrate. I also feel that teachers that are able to do that with going, after they get their undergraduate degree, and if they can go into an interview and they can show how they can integrate technology into their lesson plans, I think that they will make it more valuable, or they'll, be hired, because that's something that I think a lot of school districts are looking for people. This limited use may have multiple causes. Teacher may be overwhelmed by demands of testing. They may not see the value of instructional technologies in their content area. They may work in environments where principals do not understand or encourage technology use, and the types of software most helpful in instruction are not always the types of applications students know how or want to use. But one cause of this difficulty seems to be the types of technology-related professional development teachers receive. Just like the other article, need PD. Though technology training is one of the most common types of PD for teachers, with 60% of teachers reporting some sort of technology-related professional development in the past year. So that was in 2008, so hopefully it's better by now. Only 43% rate is useful or very useful. Many teachers report that the instruction they receive in technology integration, whether online or face-to-face, is still too focused on learning how to use software versus integrating it into the teaching and learning process. Teachers do use technology for administration, personal productivity, and displaying content via projectors and document cameras, but not so much as student learning tool. Why? After 25 years of incorporating technology in the learning space, we still may not have figured out how to do technology-related professional development that helps teachers use computers as part of the instructional process. After 25 years of having computers in schools, we still lack an approach that ensures teachers truly understand the benefits and appropriate uses of computers for instruction, and that teachers actually use technology as part of teaching and learning. That's one of the things that they did in our school. We have our admin that come by and just do drop-in visits in our classroom to see whether or not we're using technology. We have to list in our lesson plans how and when we're going to be using technology in our lessons. So first we have to plan, then we have to record it in our plans saying that we're going to do it, and then we have our admin actually stopping by out of the blue. You just never know when they're going to stop by to see if we're using the technology that we said that we were going to use. We have Promethean boards in our room, and some of the teachers are just using it as a glorified blackboard instead of using it for the things that they really could use it for. We also have some netbooks in our class. I have 17 students and I have 11 netbooks, although a couple of them aren't working really well. I've got to have someone take a look at them. So I try as much as possible to have students on the computer. I have someone on it almost all day long. The only time I don't have someone consistently is during math time, but most of the other time I have someone that's doing something on one of the computers. So it says back to the drawing board, the 5 J's. So this is the thing that I was interested in. In the 1990s, the Austin-based educational organization, SEDL, developed a technology professional development framework called the 5 J's. The 5 J's, which I will explain in further detail in this article, are job-related, just enough, just in time, just in case, and just try it. The approach was used successfully with 150 teachers in 5 states to help them integrate technology into instruction and assessment. Almost all these teachers were successful in this endeavor. The number of teachers who moved from low constructivist to high constructivist use tripled after 2 years. That's pretty cool. Pretty good. In Indonesia, I hate comparing us to other countries, but in Indonesia, where teachers and students' technology skills are almost minimal at best, Education Development Center recently concluded 2 pilot technology coaching projects in which every teacher, of approximately 280, integrated 1 computer in his or her classroom instruction as part of a learner-centered activity. EDC's Indonesian technology coaches did so by utilizing SEDL's 5J approach as their playbook. Given some of the reports we see about American teachers, more than a decade after its development in the U.S., it just might be worth dusting off and revisiting the 5 J's to consider how we might improve technology-based professional development and support for teachers. So, kind of cool. So here we go. Beyond skills training, a theory of action. The 5 J's contain little that is new. Their value is organizing best practices in professional development under a simple mnemonic device that helps educators focus on essential practices that promote quality implementation of an innovation. The overall approach, sequential and cumulative, is grounded in 2 basic premises. First, if technology is used as a teaching and learning tool, tied to curricular goals and assessment, and embedded within strong instructional techniques, it can promote better instruction and greater student collaboration, enhancing student learning. If not, it can't. Second, professional development can promote quality technology integration and learning by minimizing the importance of computers within professional development and concentrating instead on the core areas of teaching: content, curriculum, instruction, assessment, and classroom management. Wait a second. Second, professional development can promote quality technology integration by minimizing the importance of computers. Okay, so that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, so I don't know how you can minimize the importance of computers. And so I guess I got to keep going. According to the 5 J's, technology-related teacher professional development should be job-related, which is focused on the core competencies of the classroom, not technology. Don't know if I agree with that. Just enough, emphasizing increased comfort, not proficiency, with computers and management limited technology resources. I guess I can go along with that at first, but if we're comfortable, we would use it, but I would think that you would want to strive for proficiency, and maybe that's like a later on, like another J or something down the road, because if they're proficient, then I think then everyone's going to get the most out of it. I think that if you're just kind of can do it, then I think that's one of the problems that we've had, is that people sort of kind of know how to do it, but they aren't really very proficient and a long way from any kind of mastery level. And so there's feeble attempts made. So I don't know if I agree with that one either. And then just in time, meaning teacher are provided with skills as and when needed. So who determines needed? I guess that's a question that I have. Just in case, teachers need to plan for contingencies. So that doesn't make sense. I would think that you would want technology forefront, not a contingency, and accompanied by a just try it attitude wherein instructors apply both pressure and support to compel teachers to use what they've learned. Again, I don't like the pressure part of it. Support I like, but I don't know if I like the pressure part of it. So then this is going to go on and talk a little bit more about the 5 J's, but I'm coming to the end of my time that I need for my first video, so I think what I'm going to do is end this now, and then I can come back and start this so that I don't have to stop in the middle of the 5 J's in the middle of my next 45 minutes. I just want to look and see the federal no left child left no behind. I think I'm just going to bookmark this, but I'm not going to necessarily read this right now. Bookmark this page, and I want to do it here, but I don't know if I'm going to read his comments. And this was the other person's comments, and I think I'm going to bookmark this page so that I can go back to it again and take a look later on at his comments. And this was the other thing that I had opened before, but it's just an abstract, and I have to download it for $43.95, so I'm not going to keep that. And so I'm going to bookmark this page, because this one I'm going to start with the next time I do my recording, and I'm going to start next recording with the explanation of the 5 J's, just so I know that that's where I want to be the next time I start my recording. I will save that, and I will go back to my eLearn, and so I'm going to go ahead now and stop my recording. Shift F10, Shift F